Hello friend, have you ever felt like you've hit a roadblock in Terraria? Finding it difficult to defeat the mechanical bosses despite your best efforts? What if I told you that there was an easy way to make your Terraria journey so much easier and smooth sailing? Well, there is, and the secret lies in potions. At first glance, you might think that potion effects are pretty negligible, but if you've actually tried using some, you'd realize that they are pretty game-changing. However, potions might seem complex, with all that herb farming and crafting, but it really doesn't have to be. That's why I'm here to give you a simple guide that's easy to understand and follow for getting started with potions in Terraria. I've digested all the information for you, so let's get started. To put it really simply, potions offer you various effects, from simple healing, to buffs, and even to allowing gender change in the game. Not all potions can be crafted easily, but most can be, and they're actually pretty simple to do so. Let's break it down. To make potions, all you need are ingredients and the crafting station. The crafting station is really simple here. All you need to do is melt some sand at a furnace to make glass blocks, and then craft glass bottles from these blocks. Then, just place down a single glass bottle somewhere, on a table or a platform or whatever, and you've got your crafting station set up. Done! Now, whenever you bring the materials near the bottle, the option to craft the potions will appear. If you've defeated Skeletron, you might find one of these weird looking tables in the dungeon. This blue one is called an alchemy table, and it functions exactly like a bottle, allowing you to craft potions. It has a huge benefit though. Crafting potions at an alchemy table has a 1 in 3 chance to not consume the potion materials. This means that with your limited amount of potion ingredients, you can make more potions on average. This is huge, especially if you're making potions with rarer ingredients, so try to get your hands on the table ASAP. Starting out however, a glass bottle is fine. Now that we have the crafting station out of the way, let's talk ingredients. Ingredients can be broken down as well. Basically, all you need is bottled water and the other stuff. Bottled water is really easy to get as well. Remember those glass bottles you made earlier? Just make tons of them, then head over to any water body. It might be instinctive to click the bottle then click the water, but that's not how you do it. Instead, just approach the water body, then craft them from the side there. This is only possible in 1.4. If you're not on the 1.4 update yet, which are only console friends at the time of this video, then just make sure your character is at least half submerged in the water body, then craft them from the side. It's a little counterintuitive, but it's definitely much faster than filling each bottle one by one. And just a quick note here, bottled water also heals 20 health like a super weak potion, so you could use them if you're desperate at the start, but keep in mind that they also share the potion cooldown, so it's not really something you'd use if you have better healing potions. And with that, we've got bottled water out of the way. Most potions require herbs. There are a couple of herbs in the game, and most are found in the wild. However, we can actually grow and farm them super easily, and once we get that set up, we can have an unlimited supply at low effort. There are 3 ways you could farm herbs, but I only recommend the first 2 methods that I'm going to mention. Firstly, the easiest way to farm herbs is to do so using clay pots. This can be crafted from clay blocks at a furnace. If you're wondering where to find clay, it can be found just slightly below the surface. Just head over to the side and dig a little, and then you'll find some red blocks. They're really easy to locate, and they usually come in huge patches. Amass some clay pots, then just place them down somewhere. You can plant herb seeds in these. The second way is to buy planter boxes from the Dryad. The Dryad is an NPC that moves in after you've defeated a boss, so this method is unavailable if you're having trouble with the first boss. Well, it might sound absurd to be stuck on the first boss, but Expert Mode Eye of Cthulhu isn't really a pushover. This method is somewhat costly early on, but all you need to do is place down these planter boxes, which act as platforms as well. Seeds can then be planted on them. The downside to these is that they might take up more space and are more conspicuous, but they are easier to get without crafting. And a quick note here, you don't need Daybloom planter boxes for Daybloom specifically. all the planter boxes are purely for aesthetics, and you can plant any herb in any planter box. So just buy the one you think looks good to you. The last way to farm herbs is to use blocks that they naturally spawn on. For example, you can use sand blocks to plant a water leaf, or grass to plant daybloom. However, I find this difficult to set up and manage. Any weapon swing or projectile will cause the herb to either harvest or die, if it hasn't matured yet, so you need to be extra careful with that. Also, setting up platforms of blocks is really more of a pain, so really, just use planter boxes or clay pots. Now that you've gotten your farm set up and in place, let's go grab our herbs to cultivate. Generally, herbs have a few stages. There's a GIF from the wiki that sums it up pretty nicely. The first tiny sprout is when you've just planted it, and the second stage is when they've matured. Harvesting or mining the first sprout will give you nothing. You could harvest them during the second stage, but just note that they will not yield seeds for planting. But there is a way around this, which I'll mention later. The best time to harvest herbs would be to wait until the third stage, where you see some flowers and blooms, and where it might sparkle a little in-game as well. This gives you the greatest yield of herbs and seeds, which you can then plant to continually multiply your supply. The good thing about planter boxes and clay pots is that weapon swings will not kill a plant, even in its infant stage. You have to manually harvest it by clicking on it with a pickaxe, which allows you to control when you want to harvest it. Let's go through the herbs, where to find them, and when they bloom. First of all, we have the daybloom, which is found pretty commonly on grass. You're likely to see these by randomly exploring the world at the start. They bloom in the daytime, so from 4:30 AM to 7:29 PM in-game. If you need to see the in-game time, make a gold watch at a table and chair using the required materials. With watches, you can see the time, which allows you to plan ahead for harvesting. Next, we have the blink root, which is commonly found underground. They're a little hard to find sometimes, but you usually stumble across a couple while spelunking. Unfortunately, they bloom randomly, so just hope you get some seeds while you're at it. Next, we have the deathweed, arguably the most difficult and annoying one to plant. The deathweed is only found in corruption or crimson biomes, and that doesn't sound too bad. However, they only bloom during a blood moon or during a full moon. There is a way to see the moon phase in Terraria, but you need to do angler fishing quests, and I don't wish to burden you with that. Just enter the corruption at night and hope that deathweed is in bloom for the seeds. Next, we have the moonglow, an herb found in jungles. These aren't too hard to find, and they bloom at night, so 7:30 PM to 4:29 AM in-game time. When they're in bloom, they also have a very distinct glow, so it's not too hard to locate some. We also have the shiverthorn, found in ice biomes. These are also pretty common, and they bloom as long as you give them enough time. These are super easy and reliable to harvest. Waterleaf is another relatively simple one, found on sand blocks. So it's either in the desert or in the ocean beaches, if you're lucky. These bloom when it rains, so it's not too difficult as well. Lastly, we have the fire bloom, which is only found in the underworld. You will need fire blossoms for obsidian skin potions, which is an important potion in mining hellstone. Unfortunately, the underworld is rather tough at that point in time, so getting fire blossom might be a challenge. These bloom during sunset, so 3:45 PM to 7:30 PM in-game. However, if it's raining, they won't bloom even if it's during sunset. To put it simply, all you need to do is explore the world and grab these herbs, hopefully catching them when they bloom so you can get seeds to plant yourself. After you've planted them, just harvest them when they bloom so you can get even more seeds, and then you can repeat the cycle. Just make sure you harvest deathweed in particular whenever they bloom, because they're the most annoying ones to catch. If you want to make this whole herb farming less annoying and more efficient, explore the jungle and look for a staff of regrowth. These can be found in chests located within jungle shrines, which are always lighted with a green torch. A staff of regrowth will not only increase the amount of herb and seeds you gain from harvesting, it will also only allow harvesting from blooming plants in clay pots and planter boxes. So all you need to do is mindlessly swing the staff around and it will do all the work for you. Another great added benefit is that it allows the harvest of seeds from natural, non-blooming herbs, so it's really good to get your herb farm set up. This way, even if you find a fire blossom or a deathweed out of bloom, the staff will produce seeds for you, allowing you to start the farm regardless. So to recap, make bottles or use an alchemy table. Then make glass bottles and fill them with water. Farm your herbs. A great way to start is to find a staff of regrowth, collect seeds from herbs all around the world, then replant them. Using the staff to harvest is also really good and easy, which helps you amass tons of herbs. Finally, just craft the potions you need. Of course, I didn't talk about every potion material, because that would just take way too long. You can simply give the guide a bottled water to see each recipe, or just check the wiki. Most of the relevant buff potions are just water, herbs, and maybe a fish or something, which you can just fish for in the relevant biome. So remember, the wiki is your best friend. Let me just cover a few buff potion recommendations as well. Regeneration potions boost your health regen, which actually helps you stay alive quite a bit. Iron skin potions increase your defense, which helps you survive. Endurance potions are similar, cutting all damage received by 10%. Swiftness potions are also good to make you speedier. They don't exactly stack with Hermes boots, but they do stack with a couple of other things, and there's no harm using them. If you're a mage, magic power potions and mana regeneration potions are hugely beneficial. And as a summoner, the summoning potion is probably rather essential. Also, try making pumpkin pie using pumpkins, which seeds you can buy from the Dryad. This also boosts your health regen, which helps a lot more in expert mode. Having an arsenal of potions like this is basically what you need for most bosses. There are a few niche potions, like the archery potion for arrow users, the ammo reservation potion for rangers, heart reach potions to increase heart pickup range, and more. But you don't really need those unless you're having a really tough time. One of the best quality of life potions in the game, however, is the Spelunker potion. Drinking one highlights all the ores and treasures on your screen, which allows you to find whatever you want pretty easily. Be it a chest, ores, or life crystals, or even life fruits, it shows them all. I wouldn't even recommend going spelunking without one of these. Luck potions are also great for boosting your drop rate by a small amount when you're farming something. Just give the guide one bottled water to see how to craft all these potions that might be of interest to you. That's about it for potions in Terraria 1.4. I hope this guide was well broken up and easy to understand. Terraria is a vast game with lots of things and mechanics. However, everything isn't that difficult, especially when digested into bite-sized summaries. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon too for more Terraria guides and other misadventures. Do follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and also join the Zuzucorn Discord server, link is in the description. Do check out the Zuzucorn merchandise as well, it's really chic with unique designs. Merch prices have also recently gotten a huge reduction with the release of the new Kids collection, so pick up something if you can. This has been Zuzucorn. Have a nice day and have a great week ahead. Bye bye.